Hi guys, I'm Jayan from The Programmers, and welcome back to another video on teaching how to code in C++. Today's topic is operators, and so I'm going to be teaching you about operators that we usually use in C++ or other language for that matter. So here are a list of types of operators that we usually use, namely I/O operators, arithmetic operators, assignment operators, relational operators, and logical operators. So here are the symbols that we use to denote each of them. So I'm going to talk about that later on in this video. So let's recap about input and outputs. So you know that to output and input something, you need to write these statements such as cout and cins, and these are the operators we use to extract information or output information to the user. So remember, if you want to output something, use the arrow operator that points towards the cout word. And if you want to let user key in information to a variable, use the arrow operator that points toward that variable in the statement. So with that out of the way, let's continue on to arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are operators that deals with arithmetic calculations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So here are some operators that we usually use in our programs, and these are self-explanatory already. Plus is for addition, the minus sign is for subtraction, and the asterisk sign, however, is for multiplication. It uses a different symbol, and the slash is also division, which uses another symbol. This percentage symbol, however, it's a bit more complicated to explain. So basically, this operator takes a main value that will be written on the left of the symbol, and divide it with the value that is written on the right of the symbol, and it will take the value of the remainder of the division of both values and use it wherever in the program. So this is how these operators work. Below here, I've written a few examples that showcases the arithmetic operators, and I've declared two variables x and y, which have values 11 and 22 respectively. So here we can see that there are a lot of output statements here that deals with arithmetic operators. So the first statement is 3 plus 7, and we already know this is 10. And the second statement, we have 5 minus 2, so this will output 3. The third statement is 3 multiply 5, so this will return you 15 and it will output it to the screen. And the fourth statement is division, 21 divided by 3 is 7. So this statement outputs the remainder of 8 and 3. So what this does is it will divide 8 by 3, and since you can't completely divide 8 with 3, right, it will return you a remainder. So it will take that remainder value and return it to this expression. So 8 divided by 3, you can only divide it by 2 times, and it will return you 2. So it will take this value 2 and it will return it to this expression here and output it to the screen. So next, we have this expression right here that showcases the use of brackets. So in programming, we also follow the multiplication and division first, and addition and subtraction after the method. So we need to put brackets in for expressions which deals with the addition and subtraction before multiplications. So the program knows you need to add these two numbers together first before multiplying it to another value. So in this case, 3 plus 7 will execute first instead of 7 multiplied by 8, so it will return you 80 instead of 7 multiplied by 8 is 56, and add it to 3, you will get 59. So instead of that, you get 80. So the last statement is the arithmetic operation between variables, which is x and y. In this case, we use the addition operator to add both of these values together, and 11 add 11 with 22, you will get 33. So you can also play around with these arithmetic operators with your variables to get the output that you desire. So these are arithmetic operators. So next we'll look into assignment operators. As far as I know, I can only remember there are two types of these operators, which are the equal sign, the single equal sign, and the arithmetic operator equal sign. So this AO right here can be replaced with any of these arithmetic operators before this equal sign. So I'll talk about that later on in this example. So in this example, we have declared some variables which are a and b, having the value 5 and 10 respectively. So in this case, we have already used the assignment operator here, which is the single equal sign. So in this case, it will assign the value 5 into the variable a and 10 into the variable b. So now a holds the value 5 and b holds the value 10. This is simple enough. So next we have this statement right here, which is a plus equals b. So what this means is it will take the variable on the left of the operator, which is a, and it will assign it with the value of a itself, the arithmetic operator that is put before the equal sign, with the value that is put after this assignment operator, which is b. So this statement is actually a short form for this whole statement right here. So what this statement does is it will assign the value a plus b. In this case, a is 5, b is 10. So plus that together, you get 15, and the program will assign the value 15 back into a itself. So a now holds the value 15. So with that out of the way, we should look into another example, which is b minus equals 5. So using the same logic, we take the variable on the left of this operator b and assign it with b itself minus with the value on the right. So this whole statement says that b should be assigned with the value with b minus 5, which is the value written after the operator, and b is 10, so 10 minus 5 will return 5, and 5 will be assigned back to b, and now b is equals to 5. So if you have noticed, the expression after the equal sign will execute first, because the program will need to know what are these values going to be calculated as before assigning them back to the original variable. So the program needs to know what the value of b is before calculating it as for the final product and assigning the final product back to b. So these are the assignment operators, and one thing to note about it is you can use any arithmetic operators which we have discussed earlier to replace the operators we have used here in this example before the equal sign. So if you want your program to run this kind of expressions, you are free to do so. Moving on, we have relational operators. So what are relational operators? Relational operators are used to compare between two variables or things that needs to be compared. So if you want to check if two variables or things are the same or not, you will use these operators to do that. So the first operator here, as you can see here, is the equal operator, equal sign in short, as I call it. And the second one will be the not equal sign. The third will be the greater than sign. Fourth, smaller than sign. The fifth one, greater than or equal to. And the last one, smaller than or equal to. So in the example below, I've declared a few variables to be compared. So CD has the value of 1 and E has the value of 2, right? So in these few examples below, I've made use of relational operators to come out with different outputs for the program. So the first two statements checks with the equivalence of both variables, and if they are equal, it will output true, which is 1, and otherwise it will output false, which is 0, as you can see here. And I have also written a statement which checks whether if two variables are not equal or not, and if they are not equal, the program will return true and otherwise false. So the greater than and smaller than signs are also what it sounds like, and it will check if both variables, and it will check if the variable on the left of the operator is greater than or smaller than the variable on that is written on the right. So depending on how you write it, the program will output it as you have written. And if you have written it like this example here, which is E is smaller than C or not, it will check the program and see if E is, because E is 2 and C is 1, right? So E smaller than C, 2 smaller than 1 is not true, so the program will output it as false, as a false statement, because it is a false statement, right? So you must be careful of how you write it, because the program will read it like a sentence, and yeah, you should be aware of that. The last two statements here is worthy of discussion. So the first example here, right, says C is greater than D. As you can see, C and D has the same value, so how does the program output the result? So in essence, the program will read it as a false statement, because C and D is equal and 1 is not greater or smaller than 1, right? So this will be considered as a false statement for the program, and it will output the result as false. And the last example here checks whether if C is greater or equal than D. So as we have already talked before, C and D has the same value, and you must think that the program will output the false statement because of this, right? But oppositely, no, because we have this operator right here, which is the equal sign, that checks both if C is greater than D and if C is equal to D or not. So in this case, C is equal to D, so the program will output the result as a true statement. So this is how you use the relational operators, and you can have fun with it in your own program as well. So these are the relational operators. So lastly, we have the logical operators, and the types of logical operators that we usually use are AND operator, OR operator, and NOT operator. So the logical operators are used to compare between Boolean values which are trues and falses, and I'll show you how the program will interpret them later. So in this example, we can see that they are used in this statement right here, the logical operators. And first, let's talk about the OR operator. So the OR operator takes both values and compare them together. So if in the OR operator logic, if one of the variable is true, then the statement is true whether or not the other variable is false or not. So if two variables are true, then of course it is a true statement, and if one of the variable is true and one of it is false, it will also be a true statement. It will only be a false statement if both variables are false. So that is how the OR logical operator works. So the second statement right here is the AND operator, An AND operator is not the same as the OR operator, because the AND operator must have both variables to be true to make it a true statement. If one of the variables is a false statement, then the whole statement will be false, and that's it. The statement can only be true if both values are true. So this is a more strict type of logical operator, and yeah, this is how you use it. So lastly, there's also the NOT operator, and the OR operator is used to convert the value of the variable that is assigned with it to the opposite of its original value. So in this case, like we can see here, the NOT operator is assigned with the variable yes, and since yes is true, the NOT operator will return a value that is opposite to true, which is false. So this statement actually outputs false because of the NOT operator. The usage of these logical operators are normally used in conditional statements, which you will learn in future chapters. Depending on how you want your values to be true or false, you can use these logical operators to manipulate each of these values and play around with it to get the output that you want. So this concludes all types of the operators today. Before I end this video, I want to talk a little bit about comments, which is a minor topic. So if you have already noticed, I have included green colored lines of short messages such as these ones in my previous program, and these are actually called comments. So what is a comment? A comment is a short description of some sort that describes a short block of code that you have written in your program. So the benefits of writing a comment is actually that you can keep track and know what you have coded in your program and what your operations actually do. And the other benefit is that you can let other programmers who read your code understand your code very easily and very fast, which is very efficient when you are doing a big project. In this case, you have different ways on writing a comment. The first way is to use this two forward slashes before writing your comment, and the other way is to use these pairs of symbols, which is a combination of forward slash and asterisk before writing a comment. So the difference between both of these ways is that using two forward slashes, you declare only this line as the line where you write a single line comment. Yeah, this is just a single line comment. So if you write something else below the line of that comment, such as here in line 5, I'll write something else in line 6, for example, this will not be a comment because this will only apply on line 5. This is a single line comment. The other method of writing a comment is this way, because by using this way you declare the starting point of this comment and the ending point of this comment, and by doing this you have established a multi-line comment. So a multi-line comment lets you write comments, notes, or anything else in between these brackets or closing, opening brackets sort of thingy. So you can write your comments here, you can write more lines of comments. It is not a single line comment. As said here, this is a multi-line comment, and after you write this ending symbol of the comment and you write something else after it, it will not be a comment. Even if you write it after the symbol in the same line, it will not be a comment because it is already outside of the comment scope. So this is how you write a comment and how to make notes on how your program works for other people to know what you have done for your program. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you have learned something today, which are operators and comments, and I hope to see you guys in the next video or future videos that we are going to be doing. So thank you again and goodbye. Happy coding.